Hello, you gorgeous beings, you. Today I would like to discuss light and its relevance to creation and the importance of human emotions in that equation. So we all know we need light to create. And before we had artificial light, like light bulbs, or even fire or candles, we needed the light of the sun or the moon to create. A lot of creation would take place in the daytime. And if you were in a cave and you couldn't have the light of the moon and the stars, you couldn't create a lot. And that's because your primary perception of light, which is your vision, is not going to be viable. You're going to be able to hear the other person, feel the other person, or feel the instrument that you're working with. If you touch somebody, you'll be able to perceive that. You might want to use smell for your creation, but vision is really important. And so vision is our ability to perceive light. And with artificial light, we can create more. So I want to take an example of a medium-sized room. And it's in the daytime, and this room has a window. And so you can get natural light from the window. You can create using that natural light. You can meet with other people, collaborate, draw, paint, build. Many things can be done in this room using natural light. As the day goes on and it gets closer to sunset, the amount of light entering that room decreases, and so you'll need to put on a light, maybe just one light. And then as the evening progresses, you need to put more and more lights on. At midnight, you might need a lot of lights, unless maybe it's a full moon. But suffice to say that the more light you have, the more you can create, and natural light compensates for that. And so we are dependent upon light, but we don't need the light on all the time because we have artificial light. We also receive light through the food we consume. Plants use photosynthesis to create energy for us, and so even if the sun isn't shining and it's cloudy for a while, you can still consume plant matter, animal matter, and receive light that way. You can receive light from above, from the heavens, from the cosmos, and that light can stimulate you. It makes you feel good. You can feel it in your heart. You might experience that through some kind of inspiration, or maybe a dream at night, or a flash of clarity. And these, to me anyway, are ways that we perceive light. So we need light to create. It's very important that we have light to create. And so the importance of having light to create is two-way. We receive light into our human vessel, but we also produce light. And best evidence of this is if you're in a room and say it's kind of quiet, people are mellow, not that lively, and then somebody walks into that room who's very lively, very vibrant, and they uplift the energy, and people get infused with that energy quickly, and you can feel it. You can feel the energy in that room, and that person stimulates the environment, and they bring in their own light, and that's how humans generate light. Animals can bring us so much joy and happiness and generate light for us. A beautiful flower, the smell of that flower, beautiful scenery. These all are ways that we can get light. In addition to the light from the sun and our own light, we can transmute light from our environment for our beneficial use. The flip side of that equation is when somebody walks into a room and they're a little on the dark side, let's say. They're a little bit of a black hole as far as light is concerned, and they come in the room and immediately you can feel the energy drop. Even if you're not looking at them, you're like, wow, what just happened here? And so in this sense, there is a bit of polarity to light in our environment, as we know. There's bright people and there's people who don't have as much light. And so in that sense, some people produce a lot of light, and some people don't produce much light, and some people consume light. And so the universe wants to experience itself. And so the universe well, you don't meet it walking down the street. We're the universe. We're on the cutting edge. We're out creating and experiencing, so that when the universe says, am I? Us humans put up our hands and say, yes, I am. And the universe goes, phew, I exist. So the universe likes creation. And the universe is expanding right now. So the universe wants more creation. The universe doesn't want destruction. I mean, I know there's ebbs and flows, but basically, you know, after a world war, you got to go and rebuild everything. And so, you know, that's not how creation works. And we can prove this by looking at human beings. Human beings need to be nurtured from when they're an infant by their biological parent or another caregiver, and they're nurtured through love. And through that love, that individual can grow into a full functioning adult, or so we hope. And the full functioning adults on this planet that you see are largely a product of love, of love energy. So love creates, and so it's that light that is represented through love coming out of the human body, love light coming out of the human body, that nurtures, that is part of creation. And that's the part where we humans are somewhat of a light generator. And so this is important to me, because I feel that we need to be very clear about our role, the human's role in this. Not just the light from the sun, the light from the spiritual world, or the light from the food we consume, but also our own ability to generate light. So I've come up with this hierarchy of light, and I just use the example of love. Love is the best way to create. It's created billions of human beings, nurturing them from infants. So I put love at the top of this hierarchy, and these are all very positive emotions. Love, joy, enthusiasm, happiness, gratitude, in no particular order, and there's more. But these are all chemical reactions. We're humans. We feel this energy wave of love physically in our body as oxytocin. And these emotions also can be felt through dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, all produced by the body, all chemical reactions. So these emotions are a form of a chemical reaction that then permits our human vessel to express light. The more you have, the more of these endorphins and dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin you have, the more you can produce light, give off light, emanate light. And that's important for creation, because we need light for creation. Now let's look on the flip side of this. And we've got a few negative emotions here. Sadness, which to me is just mildly negative. Jealousy, fear. And fear is a big consciousness, I get that, but out of fear comes expression. And expression of anger, and even worse to me, is a word that I really avoid using, hate. And so these are all examples of when the human vessel consumes light. Somebody's sad, somebody's, say, depressed, relative of sadness, and they need consoling. And they consume light from the other people around them. They're not that good at generating light. We know that through studies that sadness and these other emotions often occur because of the lack of serotonin, dopamine, endorphins in the body. There's a deficiency. And so these inhibit creation because they consume light, just like that person that walks in the room that is a bit of a black hole and consumes the light around them, and everybody quietens down, and it's like, whoa, what just happened there? And you look around and you go, oh, that person arrived. It doesn't stimulate as much creation, and that's not what the universe wants. The universe wants us creating so it can experience itself and validate itself. And because we're in the expansion mode of the universe, these are more destructive emotions. They don't allow the universe to experience itself through expansion. And maybe at some point the universe is contracting and these will come into play. But right now the universe, as far as the scientists tell me, I'm no scientist, but they tell me that the universe is expanding. So what's the utility of these emotions? Well, people will say things like, we need a contrast. We need darkness to see light. Well, yes, that's true. Now let's go back to that mid-sized room when it was in the early evening, in the sun setting, and you put on that light. You don't need to put on all the lights in the room because you still have a little bit of light from outside, but the room became a little bit dark. So the room became a little bit dark when you put on one light. But then when the room is really dark, like at midnight, and there's no moon, let's say, you'll have to put on all the lights. Okay, so in order to have contrast, do we need it to be perfectly dark? Or can we have contrast in the early evening by putting on one light? Well, it seems to me that you don't have to have a pitch black background in order to need a light or have contrast. Gray is perfectly fine. So looking at these emotions, some of these emotions to me, especially fear, anger, and hate, are that dark black background. Okay, so they can give you contrast, but at what cost? They consume a lot of light. They inhibit creation. Do we need all of these emotions? Well, let's say you don't want to spend a lot of money on electricity. And let's say that if you have that medium-sized room with all the lights on, it's kind of expensive. But if you can use that room all day long, let's just say you're on a planet where all day long it's dusk and you just need one light, isn't that better? You're using less resources. So in the same way, do we need all of this? Or can we just go with one? Could we just go with, my proposal is sadness. And okay, I'll admit this came to me through a QHHT hypnosis session, but I actually think it's a pretty cool idea. And this is from another planet, and all they have is positive emotions and one negative emotion, sadness. And the idea is not to stay in sadness for too long. So this is their gray background. This is the light against the gray background of only sadness. And we can see what's happening on Earth now, how a lot of people are very attached to this emotion. And it's very sticky, and it's very hard to get rid of. And as it grows, it consumes more and more light. And so the utility of that, from the perspective of the universe, in my opinion, is negative. It's not necessary. So my proposal for humanity is that the cancel culture is really popular right now. So why not cancel emotions that don't serve us? If we're out there canceling history that doesn't serve us, these emotions don't serve us. We just need one for contrast. And the less emotions we have, the less light that gets consumed by those emotions, and the more light we have to create, to benefit ourselves and to benefit the universe, because that is what the universe wants. So here I am. I'm in service to the universe. I admit it. I'd appreciate any comments as to what you think about this, because I'm just trying to figure all this out by myself so far. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.